Atkins. I'm lead tech specialist for Nedap in the Americas. I work hand in hand with Carlos and Leticia. So I appreciate you giving me the ability to kind of share a little bit about Nedap and what our product offerings are. So let me start off with just a little bit of an introduction of who Nedap is. Nedap is a 95-plus-year-old company, a Dutch manufacturing company. We've had 30 plus years of experience in the RFID and vehicle identification realm of it. There's multiple divisions. We're the identification or AVI side of the division. And then, so our goal and our mission is to offer the right technology to maximize traffic flow, to access points and vehicle identification, maintaining high levels of security and regulatory compliance and traceability. So we have a small product portfolio, but it has capability of fitting in each of the verticals that your customers or you would be dealing with. Like I mentioned before, there's 30 plus years of experience in vehicle identification, and we've offered 20 plus years of technical support in the Americas. So, and as I go through this, feel free to raise your hand or stop and ask questions. I want this to be able to be an interactive webinar as well. So I don't want to just bull rush through everything. So feel free to say, hey, I've got a question, or hey, can you explain this or that a little bit more in depth if need be? All right, everybody good with that? Okay. Cool. So we've got 3 different product lines. We have our active technology, which is our first one over there on the right. That's our on the left. It's the transit technology. So it's a 2.45 gigahertz active or semi-active technology in that the tags are battery powered and energized to where they push a signal towards the reader. The reader pushes the signal towards the tag, and it creates a strong, robust read. And it's great for high-end luxury applications, but also industrial applications as far as where there's high metallized content in the area when you're trying to get that read. Because that tag is active or pushing that signal, it overcomes a lot of the obstacles of high metallized content or industrial applications. We have our UPass technology or our passive technology. These are where there's no batteries in the tag, and it is reliant on the reader to hit the tag and reflect that energy back to get a read. So great for parking applications, condos, or family living, multi-tenant applications. And then in the middle, we have our Lumo, which is our license plate recognition. And we'll go through this here more in depth as we break down each product line. But I just wanted to kind of give you a full overview of what our product offerings are. But this is a standalone smart camera. It can act as a standalone device, or it can hook into an existing access control system as it has a Wiegand output. So great value in all of our offering, our ecosystem. It's not necessarily fit for every single application. Each reader has its own positioning, so it's great for kind of to be a one-stop shop for your long-range identification needs. So let's dive in a little bit deeper into the Transit Ultimate. It is that, like I said before, it's a robust, top-of-the-line product line used typically in in industrial applications, mining applications, and high-end living situations. So the Transit Ultimate has identification range of up to 30 feet, 40 feet, or 15 meters. It has security levels that are second to none. You can do encrypted tag authentication. You can install it in extreme rugged conditions. We have it installed across the world, and it performs in optimum are in extreme conditions, whether it be cold or extreme heat as well. So extremely rugged, and it's a plug and play. All of our readers are plug and play, set to output your standard communication protocol of Wiegand. You can upgrade or update it, future-proof it, or work it towards OSDP as well. Each of our readers are capable of outputting the standard communication protocols and to connect to your access control systems. And we've got a slide here in future that will kind of talk about that as well. So the tag offerings, we've got a various range of tags to fit your needs. The first one is our compact window button, and that is about the size of a small peppermint patty, if you will, and it has a replaceable lithium-ion battery with the life expectancy up to 7 years, after which you can replace it. But that tag is going to be pushing a signal and going to be identified by the reader at distances up to 40 feet, 40 to 50 feet. Then we have our external heavy-duty tag right there to the right of it. That is our designed for the mining applications, or when there's extreme or big heavy equipment. You can mount that directly onto metal. It pushes that signal out from the tag, and the reader identifies it between distances of 40 all the way up to 65 feet potentially. But then the star of the show is our booster. We have different form factors of those boosters, but what this does, this offers a dual authentication process if need be. You would insert whether the type of card, and in conjunction with the style of the booster, you would insert that card in, activate the button. It would read that card information, translate it into 2.45 gigahertz frequency, and boost it up to 30 to 40 feet to the Transit Ultimate reader. It would hit that reader, translate that information back, and send it to your access control panel to get a dual authentication. That way, you can identify the card or the driver holder or driver ID and the booster ID. So you'd have dual authentication. So this is what I was referring to with the simultaneous vehicle identification and the user identification, up to 40-foot read range, and it's a patented solution. So we have 3 different types of tags. We have our boosters. We have our Prox booster, which reads that low frequency 125 kilohertz information and passes it wirelessly up to 40 feet. We've got our smart card booster, which reads MyFair technology as well in that secure encrypted manner. And then we have our booster end-to-end, which is for an even higher extra level of security, in that it has two-way communication to the reader before it releases that information, and it's in an encrypted manner. So this application, as far as with the end-to-end booster, is designed for that high security applications like power companies, or where security is of the utmost importance. So does any of you guys have any questions? Am I talking too fast? Do I need to slow down my pace? What's your thoughts so far?
No questions so far, John.
Okay, perfect. All right, but yeah, so the Transit product line, top of the line, read range distance between 40 all the way to 65 feet, depending on the tag used. We've got a wide range of tag options. We've got the window button, compact window button. We've got the heavy duty tag, and then we've got the booster options, which is an ace in the hole, especially when you have fleet management or multiple people driving the same vehicle. You can now identify the driver and the vehicle when they drive it. So we talked a little bit, I mentioned earlier about the transit ATEX and the in mining applications. So this is essentially a sealed transit ultimate, but when you need it in those harsh environments of mining or where sparks are important to reduce, this is a designed robust reader, and it essentially acts like your transit ultimate, but it's designed specifically for the mining application. And that's where the heavy duty tag would be used, because both in conjunction with the heavy duty tag and the transit ATEX, that's even harsher environmental situations it can handle. Now let's look at the UPass readers. So our UPass is a 900 megahertz passive technology, developed and based on the UHF EPC Gen 2 tag technology. So as mentioned before, it's a reflective technology. So the tag is reliant on the reader energy to hit the tag and reflect back. So the UPass target has a read range of up to 15 meters or up to 50 feet. Between 30 and 50 feet is usually where this reader falls when optimized. Sometimes people will get it a little bit more read range than that. We just call that icing on the cake. So, and then we have our UPass Go, same reader technology. It has a little bit shorter read range of up to 10 meters or 30 feet. So we've got readers that are options. If you need a longer read range, the UPass target's the way to go. If you need a little bit shorter, any of our readers are also adjustable to adjust the read range. So it's not necessarily, hey, it's all or nothing. You can adjust to find that happy medium. So we've got the ability to set the readers to where it can identify only our Nedap tags or filter out any other option of tags. So it's very flexible. Out of the box, it's set for max read range and to read any EPC class 2 or Gen 2 tags. So, and then we do have an option of there's an optional target antenna that you can mount right around the UPass target reader itself, and it essentially will duplicate that same lobe of the UPass target. And this is valuable when you have high-low vehicles, or if you need an entry-exit and it controls the same gate. The antenna will power off the UPass target as a master slave. So you'll wire up the UPass target antenna through the coax cable that's on the and connected to the UPass target reader via coax cable. So, and the UPass Go has just been released at the beginning of Q1 this year. It's got a lot more valuable features. It's got a processor, and we're working on adding and updating web user interface so it's easy to program and fit the needs that you're looking for. So, and compatibility, all our readers are open-ended. We mentioned that, so they work well with existing access control panels that handle the standard communication protocol. So identification options, we've got here again, we've got multiple options. We've got the windshield sticker tag. That's our most commonly used tag, and that is affixed around the rear view mirror. As in most vehicles, there's a brake and metallized content right around that rear view mirror, and that's usually indicated by the vinyl dots. because there are two things that block all RFID reads. One is metallized content, and two is water, like a heavy sheet of water. Like if we were underwater, you wouldn't be able to identify the tag because that affects the read range. But this is why it's important on most vehicles, is because all your vehicles have UV protectant in the windshield, and that will affect or maybe even block your read completely if it's not installed in that area of application. So that's where the vinyl dots come in play. You'll want to install the windshield sticker tags on those areas. Now, I'm not saying that it will or won't work if you install it in other areas of applications, but you're going to see that's outside of specs. So you want to guide the installation process to where they're informed and you're going to get your most consistent read range and readability of the tags when you install it right around the rearview mirror. However, there are some high-end vehicles that have that metallized content. They don't have that metallized content in the area of application right around the rearview mirror. So that's still going to be affecting your read range, even if you install it in there. And that's where we have our exterior sticker tag or our exterior heavy duty tag. Now, the exterior sticker tag is typically mounted on the headlamp of the vehicle. And we are actually working and we're reworking our external sticker tag to be a smaller, less intrusive sticker tag. So it's about 1/2 an inch wide, tall by about the same distance or 3 inches long. So it's going to be less intrusive than the one that you see here in the middle, right underneath the UPass sticker tag. But that's designed to be mounted on the headlamp. It can be mounted on other non-metallized surfaces on your vehicle, but we recommend testing that before permanently fixing it. So you can use Scotch tape or painter's tape or something to fix it temporarily to that location, see if you get your desired read range, then you can permanently affix it. Because all our tags all our sticker tags have a tamper resistant feature. So they have slits around the edges. So if you were to remove that tag, there's potential for the antenna to be ripped, damaged, or crinkled, thus rendering your tag unreadable. The external heavy duty tag, that one has the capability of being mounted directly onto metal. So that's an option. You can mount it on your license plate or your bumper. So that's an option. We also have our hang tags and then our cards. So we have our ISO card and then we have combi cards, which means it has the UHF antenna plus another technology, whether it be your Prox card technology, the 125 kilohertz, or we do have smart card technology options. So that makes it a one credential or 2 credentials in 1 card form. So you would present the card to our readers at the gate. That would give you that long read range. But then once you go to get into your building, you would present the card to a multi-class reader or a Prox reader, and it would identify that secondary technology at that close range. And then now you have that 2 credentials in 1 card form. Then we also have our hang tags. Those are great for movability, or if you have like a university or a campus that you need to hand out even visitor passes or whatever. So then you can hang that on your rear view mirror and you get identification and portability if you need to. And then underneath, we've got the hang tag or the internal windshield sticker tag. We have capability of customizing the tag for that customer. So whether it be a university or a HOA or a development, they can be driving around with their specific design. So now they have their own personalized marketing tool, and they don't necessarily have to promote Nedap. We don't mind that you promote Nedap, but how cool would that be to be able to advertise or brag about your business or your living space? Now, we will get questions sometimes of, well, we like the option, but we don't necessarily want to uh, say, for instance, let people know, hey, this is where this tag goes, because we don't want people breaking into the vehicle and stealing it and now gaining access, unauthorized access. This still is a valuable visual identifier for those people that are enforcing, the parking. So you could even create just a standard color tag. You wouldn't necessarily have to put any information, but that way your guard or your parking enforcement could walk through and see that visual identifier and know exactly whether or not that they're allowed on this premise or should be on this premise. So great values in customize your business, or we also offer the Nedap tags. So if you want just the vanilla, we've got that. We've got custom program tags available, so you can choose your facility code, your weekend output, and your tag range. So there's options to fit any of your needs with the UPass technology. Any questions on the UPass technology? Any comments, nonviolent disagreements?
None, John.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump into the AMPR Lumo. Now this is a Luma or a license plate recognition camera designed for access control. So it has a couple of cool features. It can act as a standalone, as it has the hard drive and all the software is embedded into it. So it can run without having to be hooked into an a software. There's no licensing fees because it's all embedded into the camera. So it's essentially a box buy. So I mentioned earlier, it can act as a standalone device in that we have a white list, a black list, an ignore list, and a Wiegand match list. Each of those lists can store up to 100,000 plates on those lists. And then if it's on the list, if it's on a white list, and then it would send a trigger to output or open the gate, and you'd have your record all embedded or housed in the camera itself. It can also act as a card reader where the plate is the identification, where we have a Wiegand output that you can dictate. And in the Wiegand list, that's where you would say, hey, I want this plate to send this message back to my access control panel via the Wiegand output. So then now you have the capability of saying, hey, plate ABC 123 is licensed or is ID number 1234, and that belongs to Victor, or it belongs to Carlos. And then you have your record, and the Lumo essentially acts as a card reader where it's reading the plate as the credential. It has an open RESTful API, so you can integrate into third-party devices or software. Yeah, so there's great options. There's great flexibility. Like we said here, it can be used as a standalone or integrate into your access control panel. It can recognize plates at speeds up to 80 miles an hour right out of the box. You can adjust it even higher if you need to. The sweet spot is between 2.5 meter or 2 meters to 10 meters. So between 6.5 feet and 30 feet is kind of that sweet spot, designed for a single lane application. You don't want to have it shooting across more than one lane or harder angles than 25 degrees side to side or up and down. So we talked a little bit about communication protocol options, and that's where that terminology, hey, we're open-ended, meaning that we don't have to have a specific panel brand. We're agnostic in that as well. So we have the communication protocols available as OSDP, Wiegand, Serial, RS-485. So, and then TC PIP. So each of those have the color coded, each of those have the capability. The UPass target and the UPass go, those are just a toggle of a button or a firmware, and then it outputs OSDP. The Transit Ultimate, that one has an additional OSDP converter board, but then it would output OSDP to your access control panel that's OSDP enabled. Same with the Lumo. You just activate the OSDP and you're good to go. So by default, all our readers are set to output the Wiegand protocol. Power data, power and data, those are all the same. If you've installed one of our readers, you can install all our readers. The same principles apply across the board. You'll have 5 wires for your typical application, especially Wiegand. You'll have your data 1, your data 0, your Wiegand ground, and then your power supply, your 2 plus and minus for your power supply. So typically, best practice is to power it with a 24-volt linear power supply. There are other options available, but best practice is to do a 24-volt 2 to 3 amp linear power supply, because each of our readers requires 1.5 amps at the reader level. Installation height, typically installation for the target, the go and the transit is going to be 4 to 6 feet above your highest tag placement, angled down and across your read lane to get your most consistent readability. The Lumo typically is installed at license plate height, but it can be installed all the way up to 12 feet above the ground. So flexibility, but also the standards are the same across the board for most of these readers. So. All right, so now that concludes the webinar. If you have any questions, Carlos and Leticia are more than happy to discuss. But also, I want to open it up if you guys have any questions now. I know we've got a little bit of time.
Any questions?
No questions, John.
All right.
Your explanation was perfect.
All right. Well, thanks. Sometimes I feel like I get a little bit too nerdy, so I apologize if I got deep in the weeds or whatever, but I do appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to present and talk about what Nedap has to offer. And Carlos and Leticia are a gold mine as far as being able to support you guys in the best way possible. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank
John.
you, John, for your help. Thank you very much all for your attendance. I am Leticia Gozares. I'm part of the Latin American team in the commercial side. So if you have any questions, there is our number, email. Feel free to reach us, to contact us. Me, Carlos, John, we are here to help you, English or Spanish. So thank you very much. Thank you, John, for your help. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks everyone for attending. And there is someone is asking for technical specs. Yes, we can send you technical specs, please. send me an email to my email account so I can send you all the information you may need.
And about the cost, you can direct those questions directly to Epcon, Victor, or Michael.
Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, I'm gonna hop off. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.